So what areas would you think that, I mean, you've mentioned the area where you said logically that the national issue of national discourse could have been taken outside these two areas that the president mentioned, National Assembly and the Council of State. What other areas did you, in this 15-paragraph speech?
Well, you know, I don't want to be too critical of the speech, but one important thing is that I think the president and all those who go on about Nigerian national unity, they have to clarify what specifically it is meant, but that national unity is settled and non-negotiable. Is he addressing himself to the secessionists? Is he addressing himself to those who are calling for a review of the constitutional status quo, for instance, restructuring? So this has to be clarified. Because if it is the case that it is anybody who is saying that, look, let us review the constitutional structure of the country, then his own party is also guilty. Because it is in their manifesto that they are committed to devolution of power, essentially restructuring of power relations in the country. So they kept on, this is not the first time. And other people, you know, representatives kept on at this national unity. Let us know, when you say national unity of Nigeria is settled, non-negotiable, specifically what does it mean? What are you saying? How many Nigerians are advocating the dissolution of Nigeria? It's a marginal opinion. So, but if what you mean is that what's and no, we should retain what is this, then that is another thing entirely.
If you look at
and
this,
then let me finish. You know, before I forget, he was talking about there's a national consensus that we should live together. Okay, first and foremost, how did he arrive at that national? I'm not contesting that from a sample. I mean, it's an anecdote, but how was that conclusion reached? That there is a national consensus. But more importantly is that the process of reaching a national consensus itself involves exchange of ideas, critical ideas. You come up with your own viewpoints. I come up with mine, you know. But from what he is saying, he is totally opposed to it. He just wants only one stream of idea. If you want to crystallize a consensus, that means you are going to take every view and every opinion into consideration. Mr.
Osuntokun, if you look at the spirit of this speech, a lot of people have said this speech looks like the kind of spirit of unity that Nigeria needs at the moment where there are agitations, divisive tendencies across the land. But one area that you have mentioned that you have not been able to really prove is the fact that there were grammatical errors. And
please, I don't want to make
no, because if you make that kind of assertion here, you must be able to prove. For the sake of those who have made efforts to put the speech.
Or second paragraph. Bring it, let me read it
All right,
to you.
Go ahead.
I've been kept in daily touch with events at home. It should have been I've kept in daily touch, not I've been kept in daily touch.
That's the only grammatical issue that you found?
Don't let us go on and on. The articulation of the points themselves are disjointed. And I'll just mention one of them too.
Okay,
he was talking about Ojukwu coming to visit him. And in the following paragraphs, he was indicting Ojukwu indirectly. When he said those who cause the problem, they will leave the country, run away. And then leave you some people. So, see, please, listen. There's nothing, my impression or my opinion of the speech is that it could have been far better. And I suspect, don't listen, I suspect, right, that it was an improvised speech. There's no way you have 3-4 days to prepare a presidential speech. And this is what you will come out with.
If you were, advising President Buhari and him returning to the country on Saturday, what would you think should have been some of the major issues to be highlighted in a speech such as this?
First and foremost, to address the issue of his health comprehensively, in every aspect of it, how it came about, truthfully and honestly, right? As he himself has said, to be sick is natural. I mean, there's nothing extraordinary about it. The news is the idea at covering up, behaving as if there's something to be hidden, you know, about the sickness or nature of it. So it should have addressed that issue comprehensively. And he should, of course, I mean, he did compliment his vice president for holding forth when he was away. And then he should have addressed, first, the speech is too short. He should have addressed those fears, arguments, distempers that occurred while he was away in a less combative, in an understanding manner, right, in a patriarchal manner.
You think he's less persuasive, right?
Of course, I mean, you know, dismissing people, threatening them, talking about red lines, you know, this is kind of, I mean, there's no need for all that. There's no need for all that. I see, look, one thing leads to the other, right? The tempo of, you know, divisive sentiments in Nigeria always coincide with times of poor governance. You know, when governance is not delivering, you know, it always coincides. You can always read that correlation.
All right, Mr. Osuntokun, before we round up this conversation with you, as it stands now, going forward, do you think that this speech shows that we should be expecting a brand new era towards the last lap of this administration?
Not at all, not at all. This is a redoubling of a position that has been taken.
What's the position?
That you know, this idea that anybody who talks about Nigeria, unity, you are an enemy to be confronted.
You think the unity of this nation should be negotiable in your own sense, having worked with the former president?
And that's what I'm saying, that you have to clarify what you mean by non-negotiable. I mean, it's not, look, it's the way you, what does it mean? If it is negotiating your unity, for instance, is what people are talking about structure, the evolution of powers. That look, if you want us to remain united, these are things that are being suggested.
All right. Okay.
You know.
Yeah, Mr. Osuntokun, because we need to go on break, and when we return, we dig deeper, and we have the former governor of Edo State, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, in our Abuja studio on this matter of the president's broadcast earlier today. Join us again, everyone.